We are back with another episode of the Morning Chat. I'm Gabby Dodado, and I'm here with Saadia, who's currently living in Pakistan. So, we're going to chat about her culture and lifestyle. So, welcome and thank you for coming on.
Thank you so much, Gabby. It's a great honor to be part of your podcast. I've seen some of the videos, and I think it's a wonderful idea to bring people together to know about their cultures, their practices. So I really found that interesting. And since this is the very first time that I'm experiencing something like that, so I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah, thank you for coming on. I'm excited to learn more about your culture. So, tell us a little bit more about yourself and where you were born.
Well, I was born in Pakistan, but then we moved to Kuwait. So I've spent my childhood in the Middle Eastern setup, and then we moved back to Pakistan. And I continued my studies. I did my master's in physiology,
Oh, nice.
excuse me, from the University of Karachi. And then I joined, I wanted to be a doctor basically. So since my childhood, I had a dream of becoming a doctor, but somehow I couldn't achieve that. So I wanted to do something in the healthcare setup. So I did my master's in medical physiology. I got into the hospital as a cancer registrar. So I
Oh,
led the team, yeah, the team of cancer registry. And then during that time, I decided that I should pursue something, that is directly related to the patients. I wanted to do something that can ensure patient safety, the management, something like that. So while I was doing the job, I entered into another degree program. So it was an MBA in health and hospital management. So from there, I learned about the quality and patient safety and the management, the healthcare management things. So then I switched my job recently, 6 months
mhm.
back. I had to switch my job because I wanted to, do something different in the health. Although it is in the healthcare setup, but it's something different. It's about the quality improvement and patient safety. So, all those things related to the patient safety, the policies, the protocols, are they being followed for the patients, or are the patients safe? Are they being delivered the care, in the best possible way? So this is what I do right now. So for that, I had to move from my home city to another city. So this is
Oh,
what,
wow.
yeah. So this was again another challenging decision, very difficult decision, because I had to
Mhm.
move away from my family. All my life I was living with them, but now I had to move. And so far it's good. I'm living independently, and it's
That's
going good.
amazing. And
Yeah,
were you working in the healthcare field during the coronavirus pandemic?
yeah, yeah.
And
I
how
was
was
working.
it in Pakistan? Were you guys on lockdown as well?
Yeah, we were in a lockdown, and that was a very strict lockdown, because I remember that because I was from the hospital setup, so we had to go there on the daily basis. There was no, we couldn't skip our work. But it was a complete lockdown. The environment was so fearful, and everybody was like, you know maybe we will get the virus, because we are in the healthcare setup. So
Mm,
the lockdown was very strict. There was no man seen on the roads walking like that. So yeah, we had to suffer that, but thankfully things have settled.
and are you currently married or have children?
Well, I'm not married. I'm
Okay.
a single woman, and yeah, obviously, so I don't have the responsibility of children and
Mm,
husband. So yeah, currently I'm just focusing on my career.
I would say I'm in the same boat as well. Mm,
Usually here, as soon as you enter your 20s, you keep you start searching for the spouse, and the main focus is on you to get married. But now the situation is being changed, society has changed. There are a lot of girls like me who are, they're focusing on their career,
mm.
and then it's quite common now to get married in your later years. So yeah.
And that's a beautiful thing. I think it's great for women to have more freedom to pursue their dreams and ambitions and put
Yeah,
yourself
exactly.
first.
Exactly. So you don't have to depend on anyone, because
Right.
when you're living independently, you explore a lot of things about your own self as well. Because
Mm,
I remember that thought that I cannot do this thing, I cannot do this thing alone. But now I know that I can go anywhere, I can interact with people in the male, so-called male dominating society, because it's not only the case in Pakistan. I think across the world this is the case. So
Absolutely.
yeah, so yeah, it's a great thing because I get to know a lot of, I'm learning a lot about myself as well.
So in the States, we do see a lot of the news about the Taliban. Do you ever feel that your safety is a concern living in Pakistan?
Well, Gabby, safety is a concern, at all times, because I know whenever I step out of my house, I usually, I feel that whether everything will go well or not. But it's not like that, because I know
Mhm.
that the Western media portrays that there is fear and terror all around Pakistan, but it's not like that.
Okay.
Um, Currently, I'm living in a city where, you know, currently I'm living in Lahore. So uh, it's not like that. Like there are no Talibans walking on the roads, right? So the fear is there, the fear factor is there, and you know that our armed forces, they manage to overpower them. And mostly the terrorist attacks that happen in our country, they're rooted somewhere else.
Mm,
They're from outside Pakistan, most of them. So it is a challenge. We know that there are security issues, safety issues, but at the same time, we know that armed forces are, they're really making some efforts. They are carrying out operations. So we have faith in them. And
mm,
at the same time, I can see a lot of foreigners coming to Pakistan for, they're traveling to Pakistan, they're exploring different areas, from Canada, from Australia, from US, from England. So there are, and not only the males, there are some solo female travelers as well. If you would search on the internet or on YouTube, you'll find a lot of videos. So even I got inspiration from some foreign female travelers that they can
mm.
travel solo across Pakistan. So why can't I? So it's not like that. There's not the fearful environment is not everywhere, but yeah, the risk is always there.
Okay.
But right now, I think it's safer than before, much
Right.
safer than. Yeah.
And can you talk a bit about women's rights? It sounds like from what you said before, it seems like it's moving in a more positive direction with you feeling like you're able to live more independently.
Exactly, because I think few years back, if I talk for myself,
Mhm.
like 5 years back, I wouldn't even think of moving away from my family. And the families are very supportive. They encourage females to get higher education even after marriage. The husbands are very supportive. I've seen a lot of women, there are a lot of colleagues who are married, they have children, but they're excelling in their fields. I have some school friends who are married,
Mm,
but nothing is a hinder in their in their career. So the things are changing, the society is changed. More and more females are getting educated. So women's rights are, they are much more secured from before. But yeah, there are issues like in rural areas where education is not that common. So we see some incidents of violence, some females, their rights are being suppressed. um, so yeah, I think it's not only in Pakistan, but it does happen. So those issues are highlighted more, but that's also a positive thing. If those issues are highlighted, then we know that their solutions can be found as well.
right.
So this is another positive thing. So yeah, but yeah, the things have changed.
Mm. And do you practice any religion?
Yeah, I'm a Muslim, I follow Islam.
Mhm.
And even if we talk about women's rights, so Islam is the first thing that we learn when we are in our during our childhood. We know that women's rights have been very women's rights are protected more in our religion. I
Right.
think in all the religions, but it's an impression that Islam doesn't allow
Mm-hmm.
for the women rights.
Mm-hmm.
So I can just tell you that our Prophet Muhammad, in his last sermon, he specifically mentioned about women's rights, that
Mm-hmm.
all the men should protect women's rights. We have a right in
Right.
our, yeah. So I don't think that their rights are, and even if we talk about, there are a lot of things in the Quran that there is a whole chapter on women. It's named as Nisa. Nisa means women.
Oh,
So there is a whole chapter on that. So women's rights are more and more, they're protected in our religion.
wow.
So I follow Islam. In Islam, I think you are aware that we pray 5 times a day. So I start my
Wow.
day, yeah, start my day off with the first prayer. It's around 5:30. It begins after 5 a.m. And so it depends on the timing of the dawn.
Mm-hmm.
So this is my, my morning begins at 5 a.m. I'm a morning person
You've been up
because
since 5. Oh, wow.
so I don't sleep after that. I think I'm more productive in the morning hours than in the later evenings. So, so we have to pray 5 times a day, and our whole day revolves around those prayers. So we manage everything according to those prayers. We have to have lunch. There is a prayer that is at the noon time. So we do everything around those. And it's really great that we have these prayers. We find these as a gift from God, because we get to talk to God. There are a lot of things that during the day that we need to, vent out to someone. So
Mm.
we have the chance to talk to God about that, to ask for His advice. So this is a wonderful thing about Islam. And then we are, heading towards another sacred month, that is Ramadan. So what we do during Ramadan is we fast for 30 days from dawn till dusk. So, to other people, I think that may sound like it's really tough, or that they find it very tough, that fasting for 30 days. How do you manage that?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's, I don't know. The strength comes from within, and when we
Mm.
know that why we are doing that, because there is a purpose of doing that. So we do that because God has ordained us to do that, as He wants us to feel the hunger of those people who are deprived of such blessings. So if when we are fasting, we know how it feels to be hungry. So we
Mm.
take care of those people more. And during
Right.
that month, you give more and more charity. The highest amount of charity goes during Ramadan. And it's a beautiful thing, when we sit at the table, when we break our fast, everybody sits together, they come together, they get, and the feeling that when you get the first sip of water, it's like the whole world's blessings are in front of you. So that's
Wow.
again the beauty of that month. So it will be, coming in around 10 days. And after that, we are gifted with Eid. Eid is a festival after Ramadan. So it's a gift to us that you can now celebrate. You can now eat whatever you can. You can wear
Yeah.
new clothes. So this is what it is.
Yeah. I always think about that, how sometimes we have all these distractions on a day-to-day basis and we forget to be grateful for the littlest things that not many people have access to.
Exactly.
We take a
That's
lot of
true.
things for granted.
For granted. Exactly.
Yeah.
Like a
Yeah.
simple sip of water is something to be grateful for.
Mm. And what is a traditional Pakistan meal?
Meal, there are a lot of them,
Okay.
because Pakistan has a diversity of cultures. Like if you go to South, the culture is totally different. The languages are different. The dressing is different. And then when you move towards the North, the culture is entirely different. Even the food is different. Um, when we talk about where I used to live before, even I can feel the difference in these two cities as well, because they're located in different provinces. So I remember that there I used to the food that I used to have was a bit spicier than
Mm,
this, where I'm living right now. So even the language is different. I cannot understand the language that is being spoken here, although the national language is the same,
okay.
but yeah, every region has their own language as well.
Okay.
So, the traditional food that we can say as um, biryani. I think that you might have heard about that. It's a rice cooked with the meat, and it's very spicy. Some yellow rice, some white rice. It's a mix of both, and some spices are added into that. And then in Pakistan, people are more inclined towards non-veg, so they eat meat a lot. And then we have some sweet dish. They have a sweet tooth. Pakistani people are giving
Oh,
them that. So, and the sweets are extremely sweet. Even I don't like that kind of sweet, but they're very very sweet.
mm,
So yeah, that's all I think. But when you move towards one region to another, there is a complete difference in food and everything.
right. And
Yeah.
would you say there's anything that you do in your culture that would be a surprise for Americans that maybe we wouldn't have in the US? Like any activities or any?
I think the weddings in Pakistan are entirely different from the American weddings.
Okay,
So the culture, if you talk about the culture, I think that is more prominent in the weddings.
got it.
When you attend a Pakistani wedding, you'll say, "Oh my God, what is this? What are they doing?" Because there are different traditions, different practices in Pakistani weddings, like. I can just, for example, I can just tell you that there is, oh, I don't know what to call that. There is a practice, a cultural practice, like the girls' sisters, they hide the shoes of Pakistani groom, and then they ask for money. Like, if you give us the money, then we'll hand over the shoes to your shoes to you. So he's sitting bare feet there, and he's like entirely in a difficult situation. So that's something that they do. So I think wedding, and they're very colorful weddings, very vibrant,
Ooh.
very, yeah. The brides wear very vibrant colors, red, maroon, and all those colors.
So
And
no
I think
white then.
no white.
Oh,
Some people prefer white, but mostly they are in very bright colors. So that's something I think Americans won't do, and a surprise.
yeah. Yeah, that sounds unique. That sounds different from how weddings are over here. So that sounds very interesting. Would you say that there's any popular tourist sites for anyone that's traveling to Pakistan for the first time that they would want to see or explore?
I think the northern side of Pakistan is an amazing, an amazing site to visit for the foreigners, because there are mountains, there are lakes, there
Mhm.
are, Pakistan has every bit of scenic views. We have deserts, we have beaches, we have mountains. So you'll find everything. At one area you'll find snow, at the other area you'll find desert. So I think northern areas of Pakistan, especially Hunza is amazing. Although even I live in Pakistan, I haven't been there, but I know from my friends they've visited those places, and they've told me that it's a whole new experience going there. So everything is very pure over there. The food is
Mhm.
pure, the environment, the air is very nice for you. So I think those areas are worth visiting.
Yeah. And you speak English very well. Just out of curiosity, how early in your school system did they start teaching it?
Well, I spent my childhood, as I mentioned earlier, I was in Kuwait.
Okay.
So, yeah, so my early schooling began in Kuwait, but there, the system is like there is an English system
Hmm.
for that. That is another thing that we need to work on, because there are two kinds of systems. One doesn't. teach English. It's
Okay.
entirely in our national language. So they are known as Urdu medium schools, right? And then there are English medium
Mm,
schools. So we have two separate systems. So uh, the ones that can afford the English speaking system, they can go there. But the ones that are not so well off, they'll go to the Urdu medium schools. So it depends, but there are people who have they have the urge to learn, so they learn on their own. And
right.
for me, I can say that I always liked to read from my childhood, read and watch things and watch documentaries, especially with my
Mm,
father. So my father has, he has encouraged us to watch informative things, and I remember he always, let us watch uh, from very early ages. CNN, BBC, we used to watch that, the
okay.
news with it. Yeah. So
And what do you think of those news stations?
yeah, I think they're doing their job, but yeah, sometimes I think uh, they the facts are deteriorated sometimes. So
Mm,
apart from that, I think they're doing an amazing job.
mm,
The information, and especially the thing that I like the most about these channels is they're not just focused on the US based news, they focus
right.
on the international news. Yeah. So
Right.
we learn a lot about different countries, what's happening around the world. Because in Pakistan, what you see is mostly the channels, they are just displaying news about Pakistani
Right.
politics, what's happening in Pakistan, just a small segment about another country, but then Pakistan, Pakistan, Pakistan. So this is what I like about the international news channels.
Yeah. Yeah, it's informative.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what are some of your long-term career goals?
Well, long-term career goals are basically I would like to excel in what I'm doing right now. As I
Yeah.
told you earlier, that this is something I think that it will benefit people a lot, because when you're
Mm,
working on quality, that means that you're immersed in something that's going to benefit the patients. We are working to reduce the mortality rates. We are working to
mm,
ensure that the positive outcomes of treatment are there, the patients are treated well, there is no delay in the treatment. So I would like to excel and uh, get into the leadership role as well. So this is what my plan is, and I'm
mm,
going to stay in the healthcare sector because that's what my goal is. And but yeah, I think I was just when we talk about the women in leadership roles. So the company, the
mm,
organization that I am associated with, it allows women to to be involved in the leadership areas. Like I, for myself, I can say that they involve me in very key decision making things. My managers, they are both males, but they do not say like my manager and the CEO, they're like, yeah, you have to excel, you have to progress. So they always support me if I need
mm,
to learn. So yeah, the things are changing. They know that if this person is talented, whether it's if he or she is a male or a female, so she can go ahead. But I was reading a post from Joint Commission International. That's an accreditation body, international accreditation body. So it said that around more than 70% of the healthcare workers are females, but only
mm,
25% are in the leadership roles. So they're not given the opportunities to move forward. But for myself, I can say that in my organization, it's a multinational organization. So they've invested in Pakistan. So yeah, they allow equal opportunities for females and males alike. So the things are changing. So
yeah.
that's what, yeah, what I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, and it's awesome to see you being a part of that change.
Yeah.
Yeah. And is there anything that you want to say to the people in the US watching?
Well, I would just like to say to the American people that you should Just maybe there are some people, because whoever I know from America, they're really, they're really nice, really friendly people. But there are some people who believe in the media, like for
Mm.
Pakistani people. So I think you should come to Pakistan, you should visit Pakistan and see for yourself what kind of hospitality is there, what kind of uh, people, and their friendly nature. So the food is amazing. The places are amazing. Even I would like to invite you, Gabby, be my guest, and you can come here
Yeah.
at any time. So I can show you around. So I
Nice.
think you should. I would just. This is the message to the American people, that you should, you should just see for yourself and just don't believe on what you're told.
And where
Yeah.
can anyone watching, if they want to follow you on social media, are you active on Instagram? What's your handle?
Oh, well, I'm on LinkedIn as well,
Okay.
with my name, Saadia Pervaiz, and I'm on Instagram. You can search from Saadia by my name. So I'm there, SAADIA. Going to sleep right now, or you
Yeah, I
plan
might
something
stay
else?
up for a little bit longer. I'm kind of a night owl. I know
Oh,
you said you're like, so you wake up pretty early and you go to bed pretty early, right?
yeah, like around 11, I go to bed at 11.
Okay.
So, because
And wake
by
up.
that time, I'm literally passed out. So, yeah, I had to go to bed.
Yeah, that's
So,
nice. Did you do anything this weekend?
well, last night I was with my colleagues. So it was a dinner treat by one of the doctors. He recently got promoted, so he gave us a treat, a small group of people. So
Yeah.
I drive myself as well. I didn't mention that in the interview. So in Pakistan, when you drive, and especially females, it's not a very common thing. Nowadays, again, it's changing, but yeah, you get lots of stares. Oh, female is driving. So
Oh, wow.
so I don't know if that's the case in America. I think females drive very freely over there, but
Yeah,
in
I would
Pakistan,
say it's pretty equal for us. We started when we were, I think, 16.
oh really?
Yeah,
That's
very
great.
young. Yeah.
Because I started driving like 2 years back. Although I knew driving, but my father was so scared to hand me over the car. He was like, "No, no, you cannot drive." And the Pakistani traffic is a disaster. The
Do you
traffic
guys
here,
have a lot of
yeah.
like car accidents? I know my parents always get nervous with me driving too, because over here in the US, there's so many car accidents, so many tragic deaths from car accidents.
I know that. We do get car accidents, but because the traffic is like, um, there's no organized traffic, so we don't
Mhm.
have very fast moving cars. Because I know that in US there are some
Mm.
extremely fast tracks.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
So yeah, but when when you travel intercity, there is a highway road, so you have to your speed should be like above 100. So there the accidents are more common on the highways and motorways.
Hmm.
So within the city they're not that common. But
Yeah.
yeah, small accidents, if that accident happened with a female, they're like, "Oh, you were a female, so it's your fault." Because you're
Oh
a female.
yeah. That's something in America too. They say that women are bad drivers compared to men.
Okay, but I don't think that's the case, because they're more careful than men.
Right, right.
Yeah,
We're
we are
more aware.
exactly. We're more vigilant, more aware. So yeah, so this is something. And again, I'm driving alone. I never drove alone without my father. So in this city, I have to drive alone. I have to run errands. I have to do the grocery. I have to do the laundry all on my own. I think in America that's pretty common, because you people, you guys, you can just leave your houses after your graduation or something like that, right? But in
Yeah.
Pakistan, we live within our families, within,
Mm.
we're very tightly knit with our families. So yeah, I just wanted to challenge myself. living
to
alone. So
post this. It'll be fun.
definitely great talking to you, Gabby.
Great talking to you. Have a good rest of your day.
You too. Good night.
Good night or good day.